Hello guys, today's video I'm going to be talking about a stupid water leak in 2001 Ford Focus and how that affects the lock mechanism on the trunk. Unfortunately, the trunk opens by itself and for me it kinda got pretty serious, so I tried to fix the water leak. That was one part of the problem. The other part would be the hose, the windscreen washer thingy hose that goes through. I'll show you that a bit later, but so that's causing the trunk lock to unlock by itself. So for that I had to change the trunk lock because the one I had on the car broke. I mean, the motor was turning, but I guess it kind of broke the mechanism inside or something like that. And I'll show you exactly how to change the lock and what to be careful when you're experiencing the same thing. So if you take a look here, you can see that I don't have, god damn it, this piece of plastic that kind of covers the whole assembly, and you remove that by unlocking 4 screws and then pulling the whole assembly off. And for the lock itself, first you need to disconnect this. So this is like the power ground and I like to call it the trunk light confirmation wire or something like that. So if you don't have that plugged in, you don't have the light on in your trunk when you open it. So moving on. To remove the lock assembly, you need to undo these 2 bolts right here. Okay, so here's the lock mechanism. Here's the hole for it, and there's the piece of plastic that kind of holds my trunk. Now, this is the functioning lock with the mechanism, but this, I mean the whole lock assembly, but this lock isn't from my car, so I can't open with my key. Okay, it won't work. This is the lock. But this is broken, I mean the mechanism, so it won't lock. So I will need to take this lock off this assembly and put it on this one. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that, and this is kind of a hack solution because from the factory it comes with look, from the factory right over here there's a rivet that you need to cut off, and after that you can take the lock out. So I'm going to cut the lock off of this and put it back onto my. So here we are in my beautiful rented apartment's kitchen, and I'm going to I just set up a vise because that's the easiest way, and I'm going to cut right over here. Unfortunately I will probably cut into this piece of plastic, but that's not really that important, and let's get to the cutting part. 20 minutes of cutting later. Hey. And this is how it should be. And my key will open this one. Let me find my key. Actually, it might be a good idea to super glue it in place or something, you know, just in case. So yeah, let's say you close the trunk and like so. Let me get back to the car. Oh yeah, and don't forget to put this dust cap back. Might be a good idea to remove some of the dust. Hopefully don't scratch too much of the paint. And you can just push it. It stays like that. Now let me show you the cause of the problems. It's raining outside. I was preparing the car for transporting some panels, and I saw this, and it's actually dripping on the trunk opening motor, and it's actually coming from a stupid screw or bolt that's up there. That's the one. So beside the hose leak that I have for the washer fluid, I have another leak in my car, and all this crap is leaking into the trunk and fucked up my trunk opening mechanism. Let me tell you guys how I fixed that leak. So basically it was leaking from the bolts or screws that are holding that chromed plastic piece or black plastic piece that you kinda lift the trunk from, and I kinda undid those. Most of the bolts broke, luckily. So my only possible solution was to stick it on with well, silicone. I guess that's the best solution I could come up with. Luckily I did a good job, so it looks just like before, and it is held pretty well on, so it will not break off, and no water leaks. Now onto the hose part of the problem. So the problem here is, of course there was some small operation in here, but that isn't the cause of the problem. So if you can see, which you probably can't, now if you fiddle around with the cables, you will see a hose there. I can't really pull it up much more, but there is a hose there. That's pretty much the hose that goes to the rear windscreen washer thingy. The hose is broken and it's leaking liquid onto the wires. Some of these cables are making contact, pretty much shorting themselves out and opening your trunk. Oh god damn it, so I will have to remove the door, the rear hatch or whatever, to remove this or change this tube, after which I will poke around with the cables and replace this rubber dust guard thingy, just in case, you know, because somebody had the great idea of cutting it open. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video helped you, and as always, have a nice day, and Furry Free out.